Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a good holiday and a fun New Year. I laid low, didn't really do much, and it was relaxing and it was nice. So, uh, back for the beginning of the year to start talking about January astrology. So, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, there's a lot going on this month in the astrology. Some things are carrying over from December into the month of January. We're obviously in Capricorn season, which is a time to review the things in our life for their stability and how they're going to work for us going through the year. So it's January, and we usually there's that thing, like setting resolutions for January, and Capricorn season is the perfect time to do that. Of course, it's good to look at things that are practical, what it is that you want to do for this year. Can you actually pull it off? Capricorn season can give you the opportunity to do that. The energy is, you know, pretty serious and practical and logical. So staying in that area of our thought process and what it is we want to do is a little bit easier. And obviously, if we set it that way, we have a better chance of following through going into the new year. So we have the Sun in Capricorn, and like we did in December, we also have Venus and Pluto and Mercury all in Capricorn. And that puts a very serious tone to what it is that we're thinking and talking about in terms of what we value. We're looking at those things intensely. We've got love and money and anything that's important to us. And I went over that in a video before, but that trend is still continuing into January, and Venus is still retrograde. So we're thinking about those things internally. We're drawing back in things to resolve and to break down and put back together. So that will continue through January as Venus continues its retrograde until the end of January. Mercury is moving into Aquarius, where all of the thoughts and discussions that we've had regarding what we really want to do, breaking that down into practical plans, is now moving into Aquarius, where we can start to think outside the box. We can start to really stand up for ourselves and begin to think about how we're going to put our plans into action. How we're gonna embrace our individuality, how we're going to be able to work with other people in a more beneficial way going into the new year. Mercury in Aquarius, wants us to stand up for ourselves, wants us to think outside the box. So as Mercury moves into Aquarius and stays there for a little while, it gives us a chance to start working with that energy and really doing some things that maybe we hadn't thought about doing before. So that will be good. We could also be doing some strange and unusual things. So we probably want to be careful, how it is that we're expressing that energy. And then Mercury goes into a retrograde halfway through the month, and that might find us pulling back a little bit to review what it is that we're thinking about doing, or what we've said, or what our plans are going forward. Mercury retrograde is something that is talked a lot about in astrology, and since Aquarius rules technology, and Mercury is communication. Sometimes, people report that, things start going a little haywire in the communication and the technology. So you may find that some of that is going on this month during the retrograde, which starts on January 14th. So just hold on to your hat and relax. Things will level themselves out. As far as conversations and things that you want to do, you might want to be a little bit more careful and think about what kind of a result you want to have coming out of the retrograde. because it is having a conversation with Uranus. It is squaring Uranus, which is the planet of sudden change and, the Great Awakener. So, if we're careful and thoughtful in terms of how we're communicating what we're thinking about doing, and sort of internalizing that and planning for things. Uranus is retrograde in Taurus, and Taurus is all about comfort and what we love and how we view and maintain our security. And Uranus has traveled back and forth, squaring with Saturn all year long, which is sitting in Aquarius and wanting us to really be responsible about what it is that we're doing and saying out there in the world for ourselves, and how we're working with other people. So we've seen a lot of changes in how we live our lives in the last year and a half to 2 years, and we have all had to review and find different ways, new and more inventive ways of maintaining our security, and really thinking about what it is that we've known before in terms of security and comfort in our home lives, if that is something that we want to continue going forward. We may have had to get creative, and in terms of how we maintain that with all the changes, people having to work at home, and the shortages in supplies, and just all in all being sat down and slowed down in this environment, giving us all a chance to think about really what's important and moving forward, how we might want to do that differently. So that is still occurring as well with Uranus in retrograde talking to Mercury. So communication and thoughts, just kind of keep an eye on exactly how you want to move those things forward, and just plan internally to move forward, hopefully doing something new and different. Mercury retrograde doesn't have to be, freaky or scary. We just kind of have to relax a little bit and not get too anxious about it. And it does pass just like any other retrograde. It gives us a chance to review things. So slowing down and rolling back things a little bit isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing. It can help us prepare a little bit more carefully going forward. And I think that's what the universe, wants us to do. So we have that going on. Then we also have, let me check my notes here. It's crazy. It's like you have to write notes because it's like memorizing the dictionary, astrology. There's no way that you can remember everything that you want to talk to. So I have to refer to my notes. So you'll have to excuse me. We have January 9th, we have Venus, which again, still in retrograde, which will conjunct the sun. And that day will also be pretty close to Pluto still. So the sun can shine a light on all of those things that we're reviewing, anything that's come back into our lives that we value, a person from the past, or if we're looking at our finances, the sun conjuncting Venus retrograde sort of can shine a light on it and give us a little bit of clarity, hopefully, on what exactly we want to do or what's been going on. Maybe it clears a little bit of the confusion. So that's January 9th, and I think that will be helpful for us. We have on the 17th, we have the sun and Pluto conjunct. So that's shining a light on really what's going on underneath everything. What do we really want to change? Maybe it powers up that Pluto energy so that things begin to transform for us and move forward. All of this energy still is in Capricorn, so we're talking about things that are pretty serious in nature. We're talking about our underlying foundation, the practical application of our lives. So with first having Venus retrograde in the sun, everything we value, and then the sun and Pluto and everything's traveling closer, we may get some clarity on around all of those issues that we've been looking at. And there could be some surprises. There could be some things that the sun shines a light on that you know, surprise us or come out of nowhere. But hopefully it gives us the information or the energy that we need to move forward and make the changes that we need to make with a clear, you know, clear vision, with clear vision. So that's kind of a big day. And on that day, too, we'll have a full moon in Cancer, which, you know, depending on what has transpired for us in terms of, you know, the things that we're evaluating, it might sort of set us back into a place where we want to relax a little bit, sort of pull ourselves in, take really good care of ourselves emotionally, and just give us an opportunity to sort of absorb the emotional effect that all of this Pluto and Venus and Capricorn energy has put upon us. We also have going in January 18th is a really big day. January 18th, we will have uh, Uranus going direct after being retrograde. And I talked about Uranus being in retrograde now in the earlier part of the month, but it will be going direct on January 18th. And so that powers, gives us a little power to move things forward. So with all of the evaluation that we've been doing around the things that are important to us in our lives, you know, hopefully we've come to some conclusions with the sun shining a light on you know, Venus and on Pluto, you know, powering things up so we can make changes. Before, you know, Uranus comes in, you know, we do have a Neptune effect in there that could be clouding our vision. We should be paying attention to our intuition as closely as possible. But when Uranus goes direct, it'll give us a little help in moving those things forward. So things could happen suddenly. You know, if we haven't made the changes that we need to make, or we're being confused about what that might be, Uranus going direct can sort of pop things off and, you know, open our eyes pretty wide and move us forward. So Uranus going direct is something that astrologers really look at. And of course, with Uranus going back and forth in retrograde and direct squaring Saturn 3 times this year, this is the last, this is the time where it actually goes direct. It squared Saturn again at the end of December, and now it will be moving direct on January 18th. So watch out for anything sudden. It will be trining Venus retrograde, so that's a harmonious energy. It just means that it's easy for things to occur. And with Uranus, the planet of change, and Venus, which is retrograde, you know, reviewing everything that we value, we can find that there are some significant changes that just occur around the end of January and after. So keep an eye out for that. That also happens when Mercury's in retrograde. So, you know, we may want to take action and do things and say things and have conversations, but we might find that we're held back a little bit, or things are just not lining up so that we can do that. Just know that if that happens, it's likely supposed to happen that way. So again, take these retrograde periods, Venus and Mercury, take those opportunities to sort of, you know, turn inside yourself and think a little bit about how you want to move forward. And if things go sideways, they were supposed to go sideways. You know, just try and breathe through that. That's on the 18th, so look for that. We have also on the 20th, the sun moves into Aquarius, and so it will lighten up some of that Capricorn energy. We'll still find, and we'll find ways of moving forward out of that energy. You know, in different ways. We might feel inspired at that point to do some things. So I think, you know, Capricorn season is serious, but we move into Aquarius and it gives us a little bit of room to break out. It's an air energy, so, you know, it's a lot about the mind and about how we communicate. It's obviously more malleable than Capricorn, so that should give us a little bit of movement forward with a little more ease than when we were in Capricorn season. On the 26th, 7th, Mars finally moves out of Sagittarius and then it goes into Capricorn. And that's Mars Sagittarius energy around all of this really serious energy could have been making all of you feel a little nervous. It's like just this little undercurrent of, I want to move towards something. And it's a fire energy. So, but then something may have been holding us back, or things just weren't clear, or it just felt a little bit wonky. But as that moves into Capricorn, it hopefully will give us a little bit of a clearer pathway, in a more practical way to sort of move things forward in a serious way. So if there are conversations that we've been wanting to have, or things that we've been wanting to do that we felt we were sort of held back from, or a little bit confused by, when Mars goes into Capricorn, it might sort of settle our minds down and our thought processes down, so that everything that we've been reviewing and planning will actually have a more solid and stable basis for which to take action, because that's Mars is how we want to take action. It's passion, and it can be aggression, but it is the planet of action. So as that moves into Capricorn, it kind of can ground that energy a little bit. So that is January in a nutshell. Obviously there's a whole lot of other things that are going on as well, but those are the highlights for January. It is really a month of intense introspection and reviewing things from the past, tying things up that have loose ends, so that we can move forward in a more stable way for ourselves. It may not be easy. We might see breakups. We might see people come back that we want to sit down and try and create a blueprint for how we move forward. We might really be looking at our finances. We could have been having some setbacks that forced us to look at those things. Hopefully, as these breakout energies come forward and we're moving into Aquarius, we can find ways to work around those things for ourselves, or build something going forward that allows us to move a little bit more freely. I know that, as a collective, coming out of the Capricorn energy and really thinking about, who we want to be as a person and how we want to show up in the world, going into Aquarius gives us the opportunity to actually do things differently, so that we can work with one another. Hopefully that's what we're doing. That's what my hope is for what we're doing, and that we're not just going to go, crazy hog wild, and, not worry about other people's feelings, and, things like, and, or where they might be at in their lives. The idea is to come together and work towards something that is new and different, that can, help humanity, that can put us on a trajectory that is better and than where we were before. So I will be doing a new moon video with Whitney over at Accurate AF Tarot. That's the plan for tonight. We'll talk about the new moon in Capricorn, which is all about setting our intentions, like New Year's resolutions. Not an accident that everybody talks about New Year's resolutions in Capricorn season at the beginning of the year. It's a perfect time to do that. And then I will be doing the monthly zodiacs over the next week. And also we will be talking about the full moon that's coming this month as well in Cancer, which I mentioned just briefly. So there's a lot going on astrologically. I hope that everybody's doing well and sitting back and, having, an easy time reviewing what's going on in their lives and how they want to move forward. So I know that I'm working on that. A lot of changes for me. I'm sure there are a lot of changes for you. And, we'll just support one another and move forward as best we can. Hopefully we'll have, I'm hoping there's a brighter outlook for 2022, as I'm sure all of you are. If you're struggling, just hang in there. And I would love to hear how the month is going for you with all this Capricorn season, what's been going on in your love lives, what's been going on with everything else that is coming back to you to take a look at. Put something in the comments. I'd love to see it here on my YouTube channel or over on my Facebook page at Jovi Star Soul Astrology. And I want to thank you for being here, for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Very, very grateful. And I'm hoping that moving into 2022, I can, put more content out and work with some of you one-on-one. If you're interested in a birth chart reading, or if things are going on in a relationship right now that you need to unpack, please get a hold of me at my email at geminifire65@msn.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And again, all of my readings are 30% off until January 30th. And I'd love it if you would allow me to read for you. So everybody take care. Happy New Year again. And I will see you soon. Bye.